1, 2, 3. Anybody hear me? Okay, so we should be okay. Let me see. I'm going to test it and see, because this was recently redone. I'm a little hoarse, you guys. But we're going to do this anyways. So, let's see. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. Can anybody hear me? Are you guys listening to me? Are you able to? Are the speakers on? Looks like everything is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it's working. Perfect. So there's a little delay from my end, but it looks like everything is fine. We're going to start with this without any delay.
How much it costs Canton taxpayers to investigate Detective Kevin Albert for misconduct. The investigation itself cost about $9,000, but it cost more than twice that, about $20,000, to pay Albert for 10 weeks while he was on leave. That's a total of $30,000. Testimony in the Karen Reed trial from Trooper Michael Proctor revealed Albert may have misplaced his badge.
Let's go again.
Canton taxpayers to investigate Detective Kevin Albert.
That's who I believe Kevin Albert is. So I'm not sure whether people agree or disagree, but that's who I believe Kevin Albert is. I've had several pictures of him throughout the entire thing. And when I was doing genealogy too, and exploring over 300 and something records, I managed to collect enough big pictures of all of them, even some when they were little, to put some background and understand not only the personalities behind them, but how did they grow up, where did they grow up, where did they go to school, and see if I could make any sense of any of this, right? So, hold on, let's see. On this, I'm going to stop sharing this one and share this one for a minute. And we're going to share this one instead. And at 10:56:36, if I'm not mistaken, he comes in. So let's watch. I'm going to pause it. It's Higgins, animated. Towards the door is a little blurry, but we're going to be able to see when he steps in. I'm just going to let it go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. There he goes. Now, I want you to watch the interactions coming up. I'm going to try to see if I can slow it down a little, right? He's going to try to pass Brian Albert and almost just taps in and keeps going, right? And Brian Albert stops him. He sees him. What up, bro? Wait, where are you going, man? Don't forget, Brian Albert is drinking, right? But he stops him and gives him a hug. Now, I want to ask you, do you think that hug looks like a hug from somebody who's been drinking, right? Hey, Karen, how are you? But it also looks like, do you get the impression that he had just shared a 4-hour drive um, back from New York to Boston? Does that hug gives you the impression of somebody who just saw somebody, right? So one, we're gonna go back at it, and we're gonna focus on him coming in through here and then going into, see, Brian and Higgins are very animated over there. I didn't know that that is Julie Albert too on the other side of the table until yesterday. Lisa Davy brought it up. But check this out. In about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Coming in. Foot in. Tries to go unnoticed, taps him, and keeps going, right? And the other one pulls him and gives him a hug. Huh. Don't forget, by now, Brian has had one too many beers, right? So I'm getting mixed emotions from the Twitter side.
Albert for misconduct.
I've already
Investigation
have it
costs
confirmed,
Canton tax how much it
and
costs Canton
from a
taxpayers
source
reveal
that I
how
will
much
not
it costs
debate,
Canton
I will
taxpayers
not
to
argue.
investigate Detective Kevin
I've
Albert for
also had a
misconduct.
couple of comments from people who believe that it's not him. So let's see, when is Josie? What is that? Did the defense team have this entire video? So I'm not sure, but this is not the video that I saw in court. Like when we were all watching the court video, it was somewhat reduced. I don't know if you guys remember. It was just clips and bits and pieces of it. And also, don't forget that a lot of the key sort of like there were moments that it skipped and sort of like if they had been deleted, right? That didn't only happen with the Sallyport video. It happened also with the video that they show in court as far as the as far as the what do you call it, the waterfall. I don't think that they ever showed any video from the surveillance outside the waterfall either. So, but somebody did make a comment today. Somebody showed up out of the blue. And just to give you an idea, my post had been locked on Twitter for since the whole Karen Reed thing started. And there were a lot of haters and people on the other side arguing and being hateful and animosity. So I went ahead and locked my posts. And I typically do that from time to time. There's a period of grace that I give to some people when they want to share something or they want to access something I have. They contact me somehow through other people and say, hey, can I share this? Can I share that? So I go back and I open up and take the little lock out of the post that I have on Twitter. So at that point, people are able to go in and share whatever, copy whatever, save whatever. And since this whole thing started, when we were all watching the waterfall video and we're able to identify this strange person that came in, right? And I knew who I was looking for, but everybody who was with me during that stream, I'm sure you could tell that I was as surprised as you guys were when it finally clicked that that was him. Now, people tend to change, right? Throughout the times. Like you don't stay the same. I mean, if I look at him how he was back in 2022 when they did that report, and God knows how long that picture is, he looks skinny. Now, everybody who also knows me knows that I've always said that he's more on the Italian side, that almost not so much on the Irish side, right? Out of all of them, the ones who is a little bit more, we can call him cuter, right? Sort of like it has a different sort of, I don't know, aura going on is Kevin. He doesn't look like Chris. He doesn't look like Tim. He doesn't look like Ryan. He doesn't look like his sister either. I mean, it's almost like he took the Italian flow of the family, right? And there's 7 of them in total. So he looks a little different. And I think it's in his favor, right? Because how Brian Albert looks like and the other one. So, but without pinpointing the obvious or being nasty about it, because we don't have to, or rude. Everybody's born with their own flow, right? Now, I want you to listen to this for a second. I'm going to share this tab, and I want you to listen to this for a second.
Morning.
Excuse me. And you recall whether or not you worked at into the evening of January 28th.
30 years.
And do you work, sir? Tano, where do you live?
Oh my God. Here we go.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Excuse me. Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
Richard D'Antano, D''Antuono.
And Mr. D'Antano, where do you live?
In Canton.
And how long have you lived here?
My whole life, 30 years.
And do you work, sir?
I do.
What do you do for?
I do flooring.
How long have you been doing that?
I'd say 2 years.
Now, sir, if I could turn your attention to the evening of January 28th into the early morning of January 29th, 2022. Do you recall those days?
Yeah.
And do you recall what days of the week those were?
The weekend,
And do you recall whether or not you worked that day?
I don't.
And at some point in time on that day, did you go out for the evening, leave your house, or go somewhere?
Yes.
And did you drive from your house to wherever you went?
Yes.
And what kind of car do you have at that time?
A pickup truck.
And specifically, what kind of pickup truck?
Ford F-150.
And what color was that?
Dark gray.
And the interior of your pickup truck, as far as front seat, back seat, can you describe for the jury what that looked like?
There's 2 front seats and a bench seat in the back. It has the suicide doors.
And when you left your house in your F-150, where did you initially go?
I went to a place in Canton called CF McCarthy's.
And did you pick up anyone on the way there?
I did not. I met people there.
And CF McCarthy's, that's a place that you've been to before, is that correct?
Correct.
Familiar with it on that night?
Yeah.
Where did you park your truck in relation to CF McCarthy's?
I wouldn't know that for sure.
Is there a Walgreens lot somewhere around there?
Yeah, right across the street. Normally where we would.
So normally when you went there, that's sort of where you would have parked in relation to the lot.
Usually, yeah.
So CF McCarthy's is located on Washington Street, is that right?
Yes.
Sort of in the downtown section?
Yep.
And when you say where we would have parked, so who, if anyone, were you meeting at CF McCarthy's on that?
I was meeting Ryan and Heather.
And just to be clear, you're talking about Ryan Nagel and Heather Maxon.
Correct.
And how did you know Ryan Nagel?
I grew up with Ryan, so I've known him for a long time.
And how would you sort of describe the two of yours relationship?
Best friends.
And Heather Maxon, how did you know her?
Through Ryan. They were dating.
And do you know about how long they have been dating coming into sort of that time frame of that evening?
I don't. Not an exact time.
So this is Ricky D'Antano, right? He's friends with Heather Maxon and Ryan Nagel. He's the driver of the Ford F-150 that supposedly meets Karen and John at Cedar Crest, Fairview, and they give Karen and John the right of way to turn right on Fairview.
And so you come in to see CF McCarthy's, and do you recall sort of where within the establishment you went?
Probably sat at the bar, I would assume.
And when you went there that evening, do you recall, did you meet anybody else there, or was it just you, Mr. Nagel, and Ms. Maxon?
I can really only recall us 3. I mean, there might have been people there, but we didn't meet up with them. They might have just been there already.
So no one specifically you had plans to meet with while you were there or anything like that?
No,
You know about what time it was that you got to CF McCarthy?
not a definite time, but maybe mid-afternoon.
And as far as you went out to a bar, do you recall sort of what either you, Ryan, or Ms. Maxon had to drink that evening?
Usually just a few beers is all we would drink. Nothing else but that.
And did you have any drinks that evening?
I had a few, yep.
And what was it typically that you drank?
A beer.
Any particular kind of beer?
I would assume Bud Lights, I guess.
Now, do you know about how long it was that you were at CF McCarthy's?
Not an exact time again, but a couple hours.
And after that couple hours or so, where did you go?
We went to another place in Canton called Hillside.
And just to be clear, when you say we, you mean yourself, Mr. Nagel, and Ms. Maxon?
Yeah, I drove us 3.
So you drove all 3 of you in your F-150 pickup.
Yes.
And about how long a ride is that from CF McCarthy's to Hillside?
I'd say 10.
And just to be clear, 10 minutes, is that right?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Yes.
Is that also within Canton too?
Yep.
Is that somewhere that you had been before, somewhere that you were familiar with?
Yeah.
And similar to CF McCarthy's, when you arrived there, as far as was there anybody else that you were meeting there, or why did you go to Hillside?
We met up with our one friend, John.
So adding sort of just another person to the group and going to a different location, is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, as far as over the course of the evening, either at CF McCarthy's or the Hillside, as far as yourself, Mr. Nagel and Ms. Maxon, what any observations did you make as far as level of intoxication? Was anybody overly intoxicated?
No.
And if you know, about how long a time period were you at the Hillside?
I would say a few hours again.
Anything either from CF McCarthy's or the Hillside from that evening that sort of jumps out at you in any particular way?
No.
So relatively regular sort of weekend night out with you and your friends.
Correct.
When you left the Hillside, do you know about what time that was?
Again, not a definite time. Maybe around midnight.
And when you left the Hillside, where was it that you were going?
To pick up Ryan's sister, Julie.
And if you know, how did that sort of come about as far as when did you become aware that that was a destination that you would be going to?
I would say towards the end of the night, I was told that we would be giving her a ride on our way home.
And so you leave the Hillside, you get into your pickup, is that right?
Yep.
And Mr. Nagel and Ms. Maxon are with you?
Correct.
And where were they seated within the pickup when you arrived?
Ryan was in my passenger seat and Heather was in the back.
And do you recall sort of how she was positioned in the back as far as on passenger side, the middle, or the driver's side?
Not specifically. I vaguely remember her maybe laying down.
And when you're going from the Hillside to pick up Julie Nagel, you knew Julie Nagel at the time, is that right?
Correct.
Did you know the location where you were going to pick her up?
Not the exact location, but the area.
And by area, sort of what was described to you as where to drive?
I believe towards the Kennedy School.
And the Kennedy School is that an elementary school?
Yeah.
You're familiar with that as growing up in the town of Canton?
Yep.
And so if you could describe to the jury sort of the route that you would have taken going from the Hillside to the Kennedy School or in that general area.
Yeah, I would have taken 138, which is, I believe, Turnpike Street, a right onto Washington Street, and then a right onto Dedham Street, and then a left onto Cedar Crest, and I believe a left onto Fairview.
And those last couple of turns that you took as far as the left, was that something that you knew ahead of time, or was someone within the truck directing you how to go?
I knew up until Cedar.
Did you guys hear that?
In that general area.
Yeah, I would have taken
So listen to this.
138, which is, I believe, Turnpike Street, a right onto Washington Street,
Right to Washington,
and then a right onto Dedham Street,
right into
and then
Dedham,
a left onto Cedar Crest,
and a left.
and I believe a
to
left
Cedar
onto
Crest.
Fairview.
And those last couple of turns that you took as far as the left, was that something that you knew ahead of time, or was someone within the truck directing you how to go?
I knew up until Cedar Crest.
And then who was directing you from there?
I believe Ryan would be.
Now, when you arrive at taking that turn from Cedar Crest onto Fairview, what, if any, other vehicles did you observe in the area at that time?
While driving,
Yes, while driving as you were about to make the turn.
no vehicles that I could recall.
After making that turn onto Fairview, what, if any, vehicles did you observe at that time?
There was a vehicle parked in front of me, in front of the house.
Now,
Here we go.
as far as making that turn,
This is what I want to hear. Does he describe the vehicle? I want to hear that. Let's see.
you were using your directional as you're driving along, taking lefts and rights.
I would assume so, yeah.
And do you assume that you turned on your left directional before pulling from Cedar Crest onto Fairview?
Yeah.
And when you, as far as the house that you were going to, when you make that turn from Cedar Crest onto Fairview, how far into the street was the house that you were going to?
Like 20 seconds, maybe. I don't.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is basically, was it the first house as you come in, or did you drive the whole street in order to
Not
get to
even.
the house? How close to the Cedar Crest was the house?
I think it's a couple houses on the right.
So there's a couple houses on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Okay, so the right-hand side from your perspective would be passenger side or the driver's side or what?
The passenger side.
And when you get in the area of the house, you park at some point?
Yes.
And where was it in relation to the house that you parked the truck?
Right in front of the driveway.
Now, you mentioned that there was another vehicle that was parked in front of the house as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
Where was that vehicle in relation to where you parked?
I would say maybe 10, 20 yards in front of me.
And so from the 10, 20 yards or so in front of you, you could observe that vehicle?
I could.
And from your vantage point where you were seated in your truck behind the vehicle, what, if any, damage or anything did you observe to the vehicle at that time?
None.
And as far as you could tell, was the vehicle running or off or something?
I believe running.
And what about your observations of the vehicle leads you to believe that it was running?
There were either tail lights or brake lights. I'm not sure which ones.
So I'm sorry, if you could just repeat that.
It was either tail lights or brake lights, but I'm not sure which ones they were.
And that was on the back of the vehicle, is that right?
Correct.
And how many sort of brake lights did you observe on the vehicle?
I would assume 2.
The left and right, did you observe anything sort of in the middle of the vehicle? And during the time that you were behind this vehicle, at any point in time, did you observe anybody get out of it?
I did not.
And from where you were situated behind the vehicle at this initial sort of point when you pull up about 20 or so yards behind it, could you see any lights on inside of the vehicle?
I could not.
Now, when you arrive at the house and park sort of in the area of the driveway, at some point does Ryan reach out to his sister Julie?
I believe so.
And at some point does Julie come out of the house?
Yes.
And if you know about how long a period of time we're talking about from the time that you pull up and park and the time that Julie comes out of the house?
Very quickly.
And when she comes out of the house, where is it that she comes?
So it's funny how 2 things here. He never describes the car. I don't know if you noticed. He never says that it was a black Lexus. Yeah. Oh, did she? Okay. She never said, I think Heather Maxson did though, but he doesn't say that it's a black Lexus. He says that it was within seconds, maybe 20 seconds. He was already followed and parked behind Karen, right? And then when he asked about Julie Nagel, he says fairly quickly. At some point, Juliana Nagel says a couple of minutes. Well, I took a couple of minutes. So I started texting her before I got there, or there were so many confusing stuff. But this guy is the driver of the Ford F-150. He doesn't really, have anything to lose by saying exactly what happened. But I still noticed that he was a little bit nervous when they started asking. His demeanor changed a little when they started asking him about, the turn left into Fairview and parking right behind Karen. What did he observe? Whether 3 lights or 2 lights or a lighting side on. But he didn't mention letting her go in front of him. Yeah, I think he did. Okay, wait. I think he did. We may have missed it, but I think he did say that. Hold on.
When you pull up about 20 or so yards behind, I'm sorry, if you could just repeat that.
It was either tail lights or brake lights, but
And when you get in the area of the house, you park at some point?
yes.
And was the house that you were going to?
Like 20 seconds, maybe. I don't.
As far as making that turn, you were using your directional as you're driving along, taking lefts and rights.
Using your signals?
I would assume so, yeah.
And do you assume that you turned on your left directional before pulling from Cedar Crest onto Fairview?
Yeah.
And when you as far as the house that you were going to, when you make that turn from Cedar Crest onto Fairview, how far into the street was the house that you were going?
Like 20 seconds, maybe. I don't.
What I'm asking is basically, was it the first house as you come in, or did you drive the whole street in order to get to the house? How close to the Cedar Crest was the house?
I think it's a couple houses on the right.
So there's a couple houses on the right-hand
Is
side.
it farther out?
Okay, so the right-hand side from your perspective would be passenger side or the driver's side. To arrive at taking that turn from Cedar Crest onto Fairview, what if any other vehicles did you observe in the area at that time?
While driving,
Yes, while driving as you were about to make the turn.
no vehicles that I could recall.
Huh.
After making that turn onto Fairview, what if any vehicles did you observe at that time?
There was a vehicle parked in front of me, in front of the house.
Now, as far as making that turn, you were using your directional as you're driving.
He doesn't recall any vehicles. How funny is that? 22 vehicle no show. 20 to 20 feet. No Jeep. He doesn't recall any vehicle before he made that turn. Now, this is Ricky D'Antano, right? Now, if we were to switch to Juliana Nagel and Heather Maxon, the whole thing changes, right? But those are who are the true friends of Juliana Nagel. So, and they hang out with Brian Jr. all the time. This is very funny. I started looking at this for a specific reason, and it caught my attention. I don't know if you guys know that the Trial Channel has, has all the little what do you call that? All the little episodes and per witnesses like organized, and they have no commercial breaks whatsoever. But it's funny how he says that when he got to that intersection, he didn't see any car whatsoever. So that's like mind-blowing. So again, this is Ricky D'Antano. Doesn't mention anything about the fact that it was an actual Lexus. Doesn't say anything so far, right? Because we're just a little bit in that the Lexus is black, and doesn't say absolutely nothing about a broken taillight, and specifies that within 20 seconds or less, he's already parked behind that car. So it's this is mind-blowing to me.
Interior light would pop on.
And where would that interior light be within relation to sort of the interior? Is that in driver's side, passenger side, center, or something?
I think center roof.
Now, the conversation with Julie about how long did that take place, or how long did that go on?
I would say maybe 2 minutes.
And
Wow.
if you recall, just in general terms, what was sort of the discussion about?
That she no longer was going to take the ride and asked if we wanted to come in.
And did yourself or anybody else from your group express any interest in going in this house?
No.
And as far as you were aware, were there other arrangements that Ms. Nagel and Julie had made for getting home that night?
I wasn't aware of her arrangement of getting home now.
So this is funny too. So Juliana Nagel came out fairly quickly, and in 1 to 2 minutes, she already had told Ryan Nagel that she was not leaving, right? Look how quickly this person answers those questions, and that she had made other arrangements, but he wasn't aware what the other arrangements were. Now, this is the driver of the Ford F-150, and Ryan Nagel is sitting right next to him. And he just said in less than 20 minutes after he made that turn, he was already parked behind the Lexus. He doesn't say that it's a Lexus, doesn't say that it's black, says that in no time, Juliana Nagel came out, and within 2 minutes, she had already told Ryan that she wasn't leaving and that she had made other arrangements. That's how quickly this witness explains that. Now, the comparison with the others, it's what's like, whoa.
So she leaves and she goes back to the house. Is that right?
Correct.
And when
Went back to the house.
When you left, had she already gone back inside the house? Did you see her go in the house?
I did not watch her go back inside.
And
He just
when
left.
you are leaving from this house on Fairview. Again, your passenger side is what's most directly facing the house. Is that right?
Correct.
The vehicle that was in front of you, that's facing the same direction. Is that correct?
Correct.
So the passenger side of that vehicle would also be facing towards the house, correct?
Correct.
And when you pulled away from the curb, do you recall whether or not you had to sort of back up in order to pull around it or not?
I did not have to back up.
Now, while you were, so you just sort of pull away from the curb, is that correct?
Correct.
So when you're behind this vehicle, did the vehicle stay sort of stagnant in the same place, or did it move, or what, if anything, did you observe as far as that vehicle in front of you?
It might be guessing at the time, but I would believe it stayed where it was.
So do you recall anything, so you don't recall anything specific about that vehicle movement?
I do not.
And as far as the vehicle itself, did you observe anything about sort of the occupants of the vehicle or anything like that?
I did not.
Now, as you're pulling away from the vehicle, where was your attention sort of focused as you were pulling away?
I believe my side view mirror and then on the road.
You're looking in your side view mirror to see if there's any other vehicles coming up on your left, correct?
Correct.
And then you're looking at the windshield because you're driving a car, correct?
Correct.
And at any point in time that you were outside of that residence, at any point, did you observe anybody get up out of that vehicle or exit that vehicle or go toward the house from that vehicle or come from the house toward that vehicle?
I don't believe so.
Very
One
interesting.
moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Actually, before, let me just ask you a couple questions. Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could publish just a couple of photographs for this witness.
Okay.
And this is, I
If
think,
could have exhibit
when they're going to ask him about the Jeep. Did he see a Jeep?
Now, sir, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about the photograph that's up on the screen, but first, what I want to draw your attention to is on the desk in front of you is a laser pointer. Right, yes. If you just press that button and point it in a direction, it'll shine.
Okay.
So with respect to the photograph, exhibit 71 is up on the screen. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
34 Fairview.
Is that the house of Julie's friend that she went to potentially go pick her up and eventually she went back?
Correct.
And within this particular photograph, you see the area where you had parked your truck during this time that you were talking about in your testimony.
I do.
And if you could, using that laser pointer, just direct the jury's attention to where in the photograph that is.
Right in front of the driveway, right there.
Wow.
Now, also within this photograph, you see the general area where you observed that SUV in front of you while you were out front.
I would say, if I had to guess, I would say maybe half of the vehicle.
So it's probably a little bit further towards the left of this photograph, correct?
Correct.
So if I could have exhibit number 72. Again, do you recognize what's up on screen?
I do.
And this is the same house that we were talking about in the last exhibit.
Correct.
So from this photograph, you see the area where you observed the SUV in relation to your truck that evening that you were parked out front of the house.
I believe so, yeah.
And again, if you could, sir, using the laser pointer you have before you, direct the jury's attention to where about that is.
Like right around that, I'd say.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Nothing further for this witness.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir.
I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to keep it too long. But what is that? And did he ask? I wish he have asked if it looked like a party was happening. Yeah. And no, that's not the Caddy. That it's a Ford Explorer, which is a little bit different than a Ford Edge. That is a government officially assigned vehicle to Brian Albert. That's what that was. The Ford Edge is a little smaller and the back of it is a little bit different. They are similar, but not the same. And I'm going to go back to here for a second. I wanted to show you this one. Let's stop with Ricky D'Antano and let's jump to the waterfall for a second. So Kevin Albert just walked in, right? We're going to look at Julie Albert, which one of our longtime friends identified her. I've been a friend of hers since, wow, a long time ago. But most recently, since the JFK show off, she's always in the chat and we've always interacted. So she points out that before Kevin Albert leaves, and it's at about, I would say, let me see if I can bring it to right where it happened. Right around here. So let's see. Right around 11:16, we're going to see somebody, which is over here. It's on that side, right? I don't know if you see Karina Kolikitas and Karen is here. John is on this side. The person who's leaving right around now, watch her because it's going to happen very quickly. Let me slow it down. Well, it's already at 0.75. Let's see if we can catch her. And I'm going to try to stop it. Here she comes. Did I miss it? Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. She's not coming out yet. Nope. I don't see her yet. Huh. Well, that's odd. It was at 11:16. Let me not get antsy because I don't want to miss it. Let's give it a minute. Well, that's odd. Okay, let's do this. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna look me up and see if I can actually see it. Found it. And you guys over here, are you guys okay? What does that mean? Is that the, oh no, not the cat. Let's go back to this one. I'm gonna show you this one. And I'm not sure whether I'm gonna be able to do this, but we're gonna try. And where is it? Where did the 26 minutes go? That's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for, yep, the waterfall video. So let's see if I can do this.
Yesterday in one of the videos because Grant
muted, and we're going to take it to the 116 because that's where it happened. And 116. Let's see. Can everybody see this one instead? No, you guys can't see anything. So wait. So, why can't I? Why can't I share this? Yeah, now I can. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Does everybody see it? Does everybody see it? Yeah. Okay, I gotta make it bigger. Give me 1 second. And hold on. Let's see. 116. She's coming out. That's where we found it. Unless 116. Nothing. Here. Wait. Did we miss her? Let me double check the time. I think it was. Hold on. $42.42. So on my video is 42.42. So let's do it right here. Okay, now it's when she's coming. It's 1:17 something on the video. So that was probably my mistake. I'm gonna try to pause it the minute that I see her running so you can catch her, because it happens very quickly and you can't see it. And it's just a few minutes before Kevin Albert leaves, or allegedly the person we believe is Kevin Albert leaves. So we'll see. Is it coming? 42.42, 10 more seconds, 7 more seconds. Here we go. It doesn't look like somebody with a headache, because she really storms out of there. Look, she's coming right there. Do you see her? She's right here. Let me see you guys. Wait, let me go back to the screen. Do you guys see her? Josie here from Dennis Channel. Thank you so much for your time and working. Oh, I appreciate it. Now tell me if you guys see her. Did you guys see her? I know it was quick, but did you see her? Thank you for coming, Common Sense. I'm going to bring it back to 42.39 and play it again. Look, she's coming through here. He ducks, he picks up something, and here she is. Here she is, right there. Do you see her? That's Julie Albert, you guys. That's Julie Albert. You see her? Did you guys see her? Let me see. Any comments? I see something. Like a reflection of something. Okay, so remember when we ID'd the person that we believe is Kevin Albert that was going in and coming out? Well, we went back to the waterfall surveillance parking lot, remember? And we tried to see. So we're going to do the same thing. Waterfall surveillance parking lot. And see if we can match to see where did she go. So let's see if I can find it. And this is the trial channels. So I'm going to keep it over there. And then we're going to bring this one. And we're going to share that one. I'm sure you guys can see it, right? What happened? There we go. I see something. Okay, so I'm going to take that off so people can see. And let's see. So we're going to look. The time was 11:18:38. So we're going to look. I'm going to reduce it a little. And then, wait. And we're going to see 11:18:38. Let's see if the same thing that happened with Kevin Albert happens here. Because somebody's trying to hide stuff from us. And I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. 11:18. Yep. So same thing. Same thing, you guys. This is going to jump from 11:07 to 11:53. So we're not going to be able to see. But do you remember? Look, you see 11:07 and it's going to jump to 11:53. Look, remember? We missed those 26 point something seconds, 26 minutes and something seconds out of it. Now, do you see that those lights that are behind where it says 11? You see the lights of a car that is on there? Okay, so I'm going to show you something. When John and Karen leave, which is about 12:09, 12:11 or so, I'm going to show you something. You see the lights are still there? We were at 11. It's already 12:10, right? This is a car coming in. The Yukon is on this side, but this car has been parked there the entire time. Remember? Now, when Jen walks outside and John walks outside, we're going to see. She's right about now. Oops, I went too far. Okay, there's John. Did I go too far? Yeah, there's Jen. You see her? I don't know if you can see her right there. She starts walking towards the back. But before she goes to the right, towards her Lexus, she gives a thumbs up to somebody. I want you to see. Or like she waves at somebody. This dang flag. There's John. And he goes the other way with his glass in his hand. And here's Jen still in the middle of the parking lot. Do you guys see it? Are you able to see her? Let me see. Yes. I'll be driving for another 10 minutes. Just drop those kids. Oh, cool. So you see how she goes and she goes through the thing. And now is when she turns. You see her? Now she's this way. But at first she went this way. Now she's that way. You see her? Look at her. She's walking. Now she's walking towards where the Lexus is. Look, she turns around. Look. And goes straight ahead and goes to the right to where those lights are coming from. Do you see her? And then the flag is in the middle. But then that's when you see her going towards where the Yukon is. Matt McCabe starts walking and she's already, going in front of the Yukon and gets on the driver's seat. So I'm going to show you something. And this is going to be pretty amazing. And I need everybody's eyes here. There is a car, 2 of them, that have been sitting dock in this parking lot waiting. Now, don't forget, Julie Albert walks out at 12:18 and a few seconds, right? 12:18:38. We missed the outdoor surveillance on that. We couldn't see it. We couldn't see Kevin and we couldn't see Julie. We have no idea I don't know what happened during those 26 minutes and a few seconds because it's missing. The video footage is missing, right? Now, Matt McCabe is on the passenger side. Jen McCabe is on the driver's side on the Yukon, which is here. And you see the lights of this car that are still, it's been on with the lights on the entire time. We already saw this when Jen McCabe leaves and Chris Albert is the last one to come out of the waterfall and looks all over the place, sees the Yukon and heads that way. Remember? Well, there's always another car. That's the Yukon, right? There's Chris is going to stick his head. He's coming over right there where the other thing is, the canopy. And he goes to the left when he sees the Yukon. But look what happens after the Yukon. Look what car goes. Now notice these lights are still on. These lights over here, right? They're still on, the ignition is on and everything. So is the other car. The other car is coming from back there, right here. And I'm gonna pause it. Right there. And it's coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. That car. That is a Ford Escape, older model. Similar to the one that Chris Albert used to drive. Now, Chris is walking distance from the waterfall, but that is a white Ford Focus. I don't know if you see it. Can you see it? Let me see. So that was at 12:14 and 30 seconds. You guys see it, okay? Okay, perfect. Okay, so when we go from that video, now we have the waterfall surveillance exterior, and we're going to go, let me see, who can I'm gonna kill Kevin Albert, and we're going to look at the library surveillance. Karen Reed. Look what happens with this car. The same white Ford. Remember that the Yukon left first, right? Share this tab instead. Can you see it? There's the same car, you guys. Isn't that funny? It's like we're tracking every single movement from the time that they start until the next time. Look at the car right there. So first you're gonna see the Yukon. The cop goes first. Watch. The cop goes first. Here comes the Yukon, right? We saw it leaving the waterfall. It gets caught, but it turns to the left on Sherman, and there goes the same car that was waiting on a stakeout at the parking lot of the Waterfall Bar and Grill. How do you like that? So I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Because how are you guys doing? Because Julie leaves. And at the time that she leaves, we cannot see her. That footage on the waterfall outside parking lot video was deleted. It skips from 11:07 to 11:56. We can't see the alleged Brian Albert leave either with this unknown person, who are both waving at the table at where John is and everybody else is. Both of them are waving. We can't see the outside video of any of them because it was skipped. It sort of jumps from 11:07 to 11:56. Now, what we can see, regardless of whether there's a piece of that video that is missing, is that there are two cars with the ignition on and the lights on at the waterfall, sort of like on a stakeout, right? Waiting. And one of the car leaves. When who leaves? When Jen leaves. Chris, to my opinion, jumped in the Yukon with Matt and Jen. This car, how do we know that Colin Albert is not driving that car? I mean, after all, he is Chris and Julie's son, right? I mean, Chris said in testimony that he moved from One Meadows and now he was leaving closer to the waterfall within walking distance, and he was planning on walking, right? That was in the beginning on trial 1, when they were lying that they were not at the waterfall, that they did not go to 34 Fairview. So then police reports come out and they show you exactly the opposite. They did go to 34 Fairview. They did follow Brian Albert. He could have said, I followed Jen McCabe and Matt, right? Because at the end of the day, Brian Higgins, Nicole, and Caitlin were the first group of people to leave. And they were at the 34 Fairview, maybe by 12:04, 12:05. So why would he say I followed the first group that left if he actually left after Matt McCabe and Jen left? He could have said, I followed Jen and Matt, but he didn't. He said, I followed Brian Albert to 34 Fairview, because that's what he did. He jumped in the car with Matt McCabe and Jen McCabe, and he rode with them to 34 Fairview. And this car, which had been with ignition on in the parking lot with people in it the entire time, followed Chris Albert, who was following Brian Albert and everybody else to 34 Fairview. So when Lana says, well, yeah, the call that started at 12:18:44 started from inside the Yukon, it makes all the sense in the world, because at 12:15, shy of 12:15, they are making a left on Sherman Street from Washington, caught in front of the library video, right? It's 12:14 and a few minutes. There we go. It's 12:14 and something minutes. Let's see. And then it skips, it disappears almost, so we don't know. We know what they did. They turned left on Sherman because that's the shortest route. So shortly after, not even a minute after, we see the little car that wasn't on a steakhouse, on a stakeout at the Waterfall parking lot, following them, making also a left on Sherman. So if everything that they said on trial one was a lie, because they did go to 34 Fairview, why should we believe that that wasn't Colin Albert on that car? Right? I mean, at the end of the day, he was making a big effort to justify how he has 3 flights of stairs too on his watch, right? Trying to say that he went upstairs to say goodnight to his mom and dad, and they say, yeah, I love you and whatever not, like he's a good boy. No, he's not a good boy. He didn't go upstairs and say, I love you, mommy and daddy, and whatever. He's trying to justify the same steps, which are not really stairs. The same steps that John O'Keefe took. He's trying to justify a way to say, well, if by any chance you pick up any of my data and 3 flights of stairs show up, just know I had to go say goodnight to my mom and dad and be a good boy. I love you, mommy. I love you, puppy. No, that's not what he did. So at 12:18:44, that call originates from inside the Yukon. Get a pen and a paper and put this crap into perspective, because it got real for me, to the point that all I've been doing is tests. I've been quiet. I've been watching X. I've been running all my numbers. I've been watching Lana. But this is getting really real, because everything happens within minutes. 12:18:44. Jen calls John. 12:19, John is still talking to her. At 12:19, same 12:19, John opens his Waze app and searches for 34 Fairview. By 12:19:05, he already had completed that search. Are you looking at all these numbers with me, like back and forward, and seeing how many seconds in between? By 12:19:36, the call ends. Oh my God, people. But just like Lana said, Jen McCabe's watch shows her getting out of the Yukon before the call ended at 12:19:36 and going inside 34 Fairview. So the phone kept going inside the Yukon. Whoever was left behind on that Yukon, inside that Yukon, was talking to John. When John opened up his Waze app at 12:19 and started looking up for 34 Fairview and realized how fast he was, he had completed that search at 12:19:05. If the call didn't end until about 21 seconds later, 21 seconds is long enough to say to somebody, yeah, I'm not that far, I'm around the corner. Yeah, I know where I am, I'm right here. Oh, I'm not that far, right? And hang up. How do you know that not only the Yukon, which had pulled into the driveway at 12:19:22, didn't take off like bat out of hell, followed by the white whatever, going to go look for John, the white Forescape? How do we know that within seconds of them confirming that, yeah, we are that close, that he didn't just went ahead and kept going, and that's when he then stopped at 34 Fairview? Now, I'm going to give you a little piece of information about, I heard somewhere, oh, wait, let me go back to see if you guys are saying something. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, my goodness. Hello. Everybody say hello to Oxy. And then, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, so let's think for 1 second, right? At some point during the trial, we heard that there was John had a Fitbit, or that his health data, whatever, was related to a Fitbit, like one of those. It wasn't an iWatch per se. It was like a different type of, what do you call it? Like a different type of device, right? So let's put the iWatch and the phone into perspective, because these are two different devices, right? Two different entities, two different sources. One doesn't have to do anything with the other. If anything, you pair whatever watch you're wearing, right, which is the one that is recording whatever movements and whatever it is that you're doing, because you're wearing it, it's on you. So and if you look at the what do you call it, if you look at the actual information on your watch, it gives you the heart rate, it gives you, right, this and that. When you can't look at the watch isolated, like health data isolated from the phone. You cannot look at the phone apps isolated from the watch. You can't look at the steps isolated from how many minutes did it take for whoever it was to make X amount of number of steps at any given time, right? In the case that John and Jen, to be able to identify everything, you need to almost like put them together simultaneously. What was John doing when Jen was doing this? Where was Jen when John was doing this? So Jen had an iWatch, but John didn't have an iWatch, right? But still, he had health data. Was it feeding from an iWatch or an iFit? Because one device feeds, it's compatible with Apple, but the other device is Google driven. So there's a slight difference between the Fitbit, which in many cases tends to be more accurate, right? But when you pair it with the Fitbit for like exercising and heart rates and that kind of stuff, it's a little bit more accurate, at least that's my opinion, to the iWatch. But if you're pairing it with an iPhone 11, and depending on the model of that iFit, it's going to throw you off because your health data is being fed by a Google driven device. I don't know if does it make any sense? Okay. So nobody's saying anything. So I'm assuming either we're okay or you guys are just, yeah, let me just let her talk. And yeah, I don't see anything. Okay, yes, it does. Perfect. So let's see. Let me see if I can put this into context. If you add the Apple Health distance, the Apple Health steps, all the movements on John's phone, which are recorded on the call logs, right? How many feet across did he walk? How many calls did he make? How many did they last? Blah, 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 blah. If you pair all that and then you pair it with the longitude and the altitude, which were shown in court and given at a specific times, then it really gets mind-blowing. Because if at 12:23 John was at a specific coordinate, and at 12:24:09 he was at another specific coordinate, and those two coordinates are within the same perimeter of 34 Fairview, and Karen is almost leaving to go to One Meadows, but yet he's still moving and recording movements. And then let's say that by, 12:36, Karen registers at One Meadows, right? So by 12:29, she should have just left, because it takes about 6 or 7 minutes. So let's make it even worse. The Bluetooth disconnects from the Lexus from John's phone at 12:29:30. But at 12:29:44, there is a call, an incoming call from Jen McCabe's phone to John. Now, do we know if John answered that call for 7-8 seconds? No. Was it answered on John's phone? Absolutely yes. It was an answered call. It was a trigger event. Apple records in triggers. They call them clusters. Okay. You may have somebody who works in Apple. You may have, and this is very proprietary information and it's part of their brand and it's non-disclosure, whatever, but general knowledge is out there. You can jump into any Apple forum discussions and ask specific questions, and they will give you guidance and an idea of how things may work or not, or how the system operates. They may not give you brand-related proprietary info or forensic info, but you can put 2 and 2 together if you ask the right questions based on the answers that you're expecting. So if you're expecting a yes or no, don't ask like lolly questions. When you compound a simple question with a long question and a composed question, no, just ask a simple yes or no answer question, if yes or no is what you want. So I'm going to give you an example, because I've also been testing something, and I did a last test last night. I bought a Faraday bag. I don't know if you guys know, but the Faraday bags used to be like pouches where you would just stick your phone, and it was just to keep it away from the radio frequencies and the cell phone towers and whatever, so it would not like compromise any of the internal. I mean, it was used for different reasons. Federal government used it for different reasons. Law enforcement used it for different reasons. Faraday bags have changed quite a bit. They have you have different categories, sizes, and whatever. There are some that look like duffel bags, right? But the good thing about these duffel bags is that while your equipment is in there, like going through like airports or, when you go through the checking, whatever, it protects your stuff from radioactive, whatever signals, right? So when you put the phone in there, your phone almost dies. It went kaput. But the only thing that doesn't die? That it continues to record steps. Isn't that amazing? So the phone only records stuff when you have it in your hand, when you have it on your pocket. If you're putting a phone in a table, the phone is not recording anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nada kaput. But if you have the phone inside a Faraday bag, and you have that Faraday bag like wearing it like a in your back, right? Like a backpack, and you're moving around and you're walking and all of your stuff is back there and you have headphones on and you're listening to music or listening to a YouTube show, whatever steps you're taking while that phone it's inside a Faraday bag, it's being recorded. Now, I took a look at the blueprint of 34 Fairview. I also took a look at the blueprint of 12 Country Lane, which is where Jen lives. Within a normal space, right? a normal walking space within Jen's, including the stairs, you have about 700 square feet, meters. I'm sorry, meters that you can walk up, walk around, and move around between the living room, family room area, and the stairs up and down. So it's about 190 something going up, and then about the rest of them are like in downstairs where the family area goes. So I wanted to like throw numbers because I'm a numbers person. I wanted to throw numbers and make like little exercises based on this. What do you think? Based on that, what do you think? So what is that? If this was supposed to be this, what is that? And if I was in an area confined to an area of, like, let's say an office, and that office is about 550 meters or whatever square feet, whatever, what would that be? How many steps can I do back and forward from 1:36 in the morning until about 1:57 in the morning? How many steps can I actually take within that period of time, within that confined space? If, at a normal speed, 1.6 to 2.4, give me an idea. So I started making calculations and using my algebra, go this way, go that way. And yeah, it's pretty telling, man. It's pretty telling. There's also something pretty important to distinguish, that Jen never stopped calling John's phone. But on Jen's watch, the activity that he was registering was totally different and sort of like divorced from Jen's phone. It's almost like Jen's phone was over here, and Lana said that once, and Jen's watch she was wearing it and it was up here, right? There is something that it's almost as clear as water to me, which starts from the time that they went right by John's house before they got to their house at 2:12 in the morning. First, she said in court that she left at 1:30. She didn't leave at 1:30. She left at 1:47. It is easily proven with the paperwork that we have, all the evidence that is out there, easily proven. So by the time that she got home was 2:12. But right around 2:20, what happens? The butt calls between Higgins and Brian Albert started happening, right? And then at 2:23, she said in court, she answered to Alan Jackson, "I didn't search house loan to die in the cold at 2:23 in the morning." That's when she actually opened the tab and searched it. And I'm not saying that it was her, but whoever had her phone at 2:23 in the morning opened the tab and searched house loan to die in the cold. They also got the results, which could have been 30 to 45 to 90 minutes. Who knows? I did a couple of examples and it throws several numbers, anywhere between 50, 45 to 90 minutes. So when she got the results, she screenshot it and she sent them by text to 2 numbers. But then she went back and she deleted those texts and she deleted the screenshot. By 2:27:40, they were attempting to delete that search from the Safari tab that she opened. If she had never searched it, it would have been impossible to prove that she attempted a deletion at 2:27:40. But the point is that in order for you to delete something, it had to exist first. So it did exist. I remember hearing about someone in here and didn't make the last phone call. Don't quote me, but I think I may remember hearing about someone hearing or seeing Jen make the last phone call to John. Well, and I think that last phone call to John, if you're referring to the one at 12:29:44, they were looking for that phone. They didn't know where that phone was. And that's when they found the phone. But I can tell you the reason why that call went through at 12:29:44, in my opinion, is because by 12:29:30, when the Bluetooth disconnected from the Lexus, she saw the Lexus leave. So if she sees Alexis leave, she picked up the phone and she started calling, because by then she knew that Karen was no longer outside. There is a great Microdots video. Let me see if I can find it. That he sort of did a reenactment in a video style, right? Like showing the type of chaos that must have been going on in that house when all of this happened. Like, what could have been going on? Who was doing what? I mean, Nicole is playing the martyr, saying that, oh, she was cleaning and cleaning and cleaning because that's what she does. No, Nicole, that's not what you do. I just saw you at the waterfall. You were flirting with your husband. You were sitting right in front of him, actually between Higgins and Brian, almost like trying to catch his attention. I mean, you hadn't seen him, right? He just came back from New York, 4-hour trip or something, and they had been gone since the day before, the 28th. And that's another thing we have to talk about. This funeral that Higgins said that they went to New York to, of Officer Mora and Rivera, one of those two kids, they were both involved in a shootout on the 21st, but only one of them died immediately. The other one did not die until February 2nd of the same year. And I mean, like 4 or 5 days later, on the 29th, I'm sorry. And then his funeral was on the 2nd of 2022. So it's like, these people are having a terrible time keeping their story straight. I understand that a lot of people don't have the memory of an elephant, but hell, Jen had the script all written down, right? Denise Galvin written down for him. That's her sister. And then Jill Daniels helped Morrissey with the speech that he did. So, I mean, if you don't have this down yet, by now, the only thing that you're going to continue to say is what? Did the guy never come back in the house? Did the guy never went in the house? Did the guy never went in the house? So, do you consider the garage, the parking lot, the inside of the garage, do you consider that part of the house? Because John got beaten badly. And whether it was an accident or not, the fact that he slipped or fell backwards and hit his head, he got beaten badly by you people. So I'm so tired with the crying that, oh, look what all of this has done to us, and look at everything that has cost us, and everything that we have gone through, and blah, 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 blah. What about John, man? He's lost his life, and his niece and nephew lost the only person that they knew to be their only parent figure. That's what he's lost, and that's what they've lost. And Karen was like this close, still fighting, but she was so this close to lose her freedom over all of your shenanigans. And if you think that you had been able to get away with this crap in 2022, when you did the same thing, attempted the same crap with the Lopilato brothers, and here's Slank coming to your rescue, activating himself while he was drunk to go get your ass and save you from this. If you think that the same situation that happened with Craig Casey, where he was actually the first man that was found dead in the lawn in Canton, it's going to happen again, and nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to dig any further. Nobody's going to question, who is this? Who is that? Now you see all of these comments in Twitter. Oh, no, that's not Kevin Albert. Oh, no. Oh, yeah? Then show me. If it's not him, who is it? Put a picture in it. Oh, that's not what happened. Julie Albert wasn't there. The geofencing, whatever. It was shown in court. Oh, yeah? Share a link. Share it. Share it with everybody. Share it so everybody can see the link that you're talking about the geofencing and where she was. Because if Julie left at 11:16 or 18 or so, we should be able to see what happened when Julie left at 11:18. We should be able to see what happened when Kevin Albert, or the alleged Kevin Albert, left the Waterfall Bar and Grill at 11:27. But guess what? Those almost 27 minutes are missing. They're missing. Why are they missing? Despite of all these FOIA requests and all of these attempts to get all this stuff, the sidebars or whatever, we are still dealing with 27 minutes of really relevant footage that is missing. Because at the end of the day, Chris Albert invited John to the waterfall in a night that they were all off simultaneously. A bunch of Sheep Canton cops together with Boston cops and one single federal agent. They're all waving, come outside, to the same parking lot where there was a fight in 2002, with Chris Albert, Lopilatos, and Sergeant Lank, where Sergeant Lank and Sergeant Good were involved in that same shebang. And they're asking him to come outside, Even the guy that walks in with Kevin Albert with Kevin Albert, or the alleged Kevin Albert, even the guy that goes out with him is waving, come outside. He's waving at the door, waving at the table to get outside. And you want me to fall for your comments? Oh, that's not Kevin Albert. Oh, yeah? Then show me who it is. Just like I have been proving and showing you videos of things that don't make sense. Don't just write to write. You want me to believe something? Then you write it. And if you think by your statements of saying that my credibility is going to be ruined if I continue to do what, you have no idea what my credibility is. And my credibility is not subject to anything you have to say. And if the other one is coming out 11 days later to say, oh, yeah, she's been saying a lot of misinformation or whatever. First of all, you're 11 days late. Second of all, go back to your hole. And third, you are farthest, the last person who should be talking about disinformation and lack of credibility. So I would suggest you step back, because guess what? I won't. You have no idea who I am. So I'm going to show you this video of the waterfall. And the alleged Kevin Albert is about to leave. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, it's right there. Look at the guy. I'm going to try to pause it. There they are. They're coming out. He's gaining weight. You know, when I started looking into them and trying to study them and research and do all this stuff, I seriously thought that, that he was from another mother. Look at the guy. You see him? You see this guy, right? Now, wait until he comes to the door. He's going to set himself right here. Let me see. Is everybody listening? Yeah. Let me see. I remember hearing someone. Oh my God, this is so... Okay, wait. So he's going to come. Wait. And then he turns around. Watch. The other guy. Don't watch Kevin or the alleged chubby chaparrito. Watch this guy. He turns around. Look at his arm. Did you see? You didn't. No. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can. No, that's too far. We're going to go closer. 12, 27. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my God, go. Is it going? What is it doing? I gotta close this one. Too many things connected at once. Here we go. Okay. 12:36. Okay. And he's over here on top of the 2. And here we go. I'm going to put myself over here. He doesn't say nothing to anybody. He goes and scoots over behind the alleged Kevin Albert, bald-headed. Oh my God. And it almost like they disappear. Wait, what's happening? What's happening? I want to cache it. Let me put it normal. Okay, wait. He stops. He's about to stop. And he waves. Look Look at the arm. See? He come out, and the other one, and Brian Albert, waves back at him. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but it looked like a disappearance to me. Yeah. But you need to, you guys, because I'm doing it on my computer to show you guys, right? So all of these tabs that I have open, sometimes it makes everything lag, but open up either the trials channel, do it yourself project Karen Reed, and look at 11:27, shy of 26 minutes or so, and wait until that guy pauses. Just focus on him for a second. Oh, forget Kevin Albert or the alleged Kevin Albert. Focus on him and watch him go out, and then go back and look at Brian Albert and John. When the guy waves at them, look and notice what he does. Because to have an idea and make this story sort of like everything that happens all at once simultaneously, tell a story and tell us what could have happened. Have working theories, right? And start discarding, no, that's not possible. Yes, this is possible. And come up with something that is the closest to the truth. We need to consider what everybody's doing at the same time. So with that said, I'm going to give you a little premiere, but I put together longitudes, altitudes, call logs, times, steps, the minutes that it took, where they were, and I made a bunch of graphics. I also went to a county that is about 3-4 hours away, and I talked to somebody who was involved in the investigation related to the Murdochs. So it turns out my husband knows somebody that knows somebody who knew somebody, and before you know it, and I knew of these people, and before you know it, yesterday we bumped into one of them, and one of them happened to be one of the group of 3 who worked in that investigation. So I was able to pick their brain, and after I came home and I had everything almost done, I went back, and given the information that I was granted, I was able to adjust things a little and verify what I did. But I have continued to work and continue to look into, hey, Denise, like potential areas, possibilities. But everything that happened within the perimeters of that house. Within the perimeters of that house. Now, don't forget, the phone doesn't track anybody unless that phone is with somebody, right? An iWatch that is paired to a phone is going to have an independent mind. The phone's health data feeds from the iWatch. The iWatch is the one that is tracking every single movement that we do with this hand and in this body. But the phone is feeding, let's say we put the phone in the counter. The phone feeds from what the iWatch says. Unless we have the phone on us, on our pockets, right? On a backpack. Or like I said, when I put the phone in the damn Faraday bag, okay, and I went for a hike with the damn dogs, and I came back, the steps that I took, the round that I did, updated the minute that I took my phone off the freaking Faraday bag. So if you hear somebody out there saying, well, the thing is that the heart rate is because she was drunk. Oh, yeah? What about the heart rate of the rest of the people? Because everybody was drunk and you didn't see anybody with a heart rate hike at any given time, right? But don't forget, the people that we have information from is who? We have a few calls that came about register and logs from Brian Albert. But the extractions that we have are from who? From John and Jen McCabe. Those are the only 2 extractions that we have. And the Jen McCabe extraction was done by Elevate, a company owned by Matt McCabe. And it was given in a flash drive to the Norfolk County District Attorney Guarino. Who does that? Since when am I allowed? Do you think I will be allowed, or you, or any normal Joe, and happy St. Joseph's Day to everybody, any normal Joe would be allowed to, oh yeah, I'll bring you my extraction tomorrow morning. Let me talk to my husband. Babe, hey, can you do the extraction on my phone? And it's like, do you have a flash drive we can spare? No. That doesn't freaking happen. So it's like I hear, oh, she was drunk. Of course her heart rate is gonna be, oh yeah. So did you match her steps at the same time that you were matching the heart rate with the drunkenness? Did you? Did you match how many flights up and down she was going? Did you match the speed in which she was taking those steps? Because at one point, in less than 5-6 seconds, she took 198. Go back and pair all those together. And when you pair all those together, tell me then if drunkenness has anything to do with the behavior of Jen McCabe that night. She may have been drunk at one point, and who knows? She may have been smoking skunk pot. Who knows, right? We don't know. Assumptions are dangerous, man. They're dangerous. That is what kills credibility. As long as we're using our two eyes and we're scrutinizing and researching and studying videos, surveillance videos, what could have happened, what didn't happen, and all together with eyes open. Yesterday, when Lisa, one of the peeps that watches the show, one of my buddies says, there's Julia Albert. I ran to see what? Did I miss her? Of course I missed her. Do you know how quick that woman ran out of there? She just flew out of there. I mean, it was like a ghost. If I hadn't stopped it, if I didn't know exactly when it happened, I would have missed it. I would have missed her myself. And did she say she went home with a headache? Absolutely. She said she went home with a headache. But I'll tell you what, somebody running that way, that didn't look like a headache to me. Because when I have a headache, I breathe and my head pounds. So that kind of Speedy Gonzalez move did not look like anybody who had a headache, because she ran like bat out of hell out of that bar. So the people in the house were wearing any type of monitor that their heart rates would have been, I would say, off the charts. Yeah, but the thing is that I truly believe, after so many months, that there were few people who were involved in the beating, involved knowing what was going on, involved in the cover-up, right? I think Jen found out what had happened. I mean, she probably knew, like, what was the plan? Let's do this and let's that. Because you see her, like, she's clapping when John comes into the bar, almost like, yeah, we did it. It's like, like a mischievous sort of like demeanor. But put yourself in this situation. Right around the time 12:25, which is when everybody projects that John actually just, died, didn't move after that. Between 12:25 and 12:31, if you look at Jen's steps at 0.4, if you look at her health data, the movement on her watch at around that time on 12:29:44, when she places the last call to John and talks to whoever for 8 seconds, I think that's when she confirmed everything that had happened. Because it's like she's dead. She's frozen. She's like a frozen pop. Frozen fish. But there's another activity that I've been trying to, and I'm going to see if I can send an email to my favorite brain in the whole wide world, which is Lana. When I started looking at how long to die in the cold in 12922 in Canton, Massachusetts, and I put the exact coordinates, locations, and longitudes, the longitude and the of where John was, right? It gives me a variance of 45 to 90 minutes at that time. And it tells me that, because I played with it. Like, what if it happened between 12:30? What if it happened at 1 o'clock? What if it happened at 2 o'clock? But don't forget, as the trial went, I knew how many times Lucky Logren went back and forward, down, up and down Fairview. So it couldn't be anywhere before 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but Jen had already gotten home. And by 2:30, Jen was like setting some sort of alert on her watch, because her watch at 2:31 stops until about 90 minutes later. And then you see an activity that happens at 3:50. I think I want to say it was 3:50:44. I'm trying to remember. And then there's another activity within a minute at 3:51:56, almost like if she snoozed something and then she stopped it, right? I can't prove it, but it's the only thing logical. If at 2:31 your watch is somewhere that is not where the phone is, and there's an activity that triggers the 2:31 event, and then within almost 90 minutes there's another trigger event that is only separated from the following one by less than a minute. When I put an alert on my watch and I just sit and I wait until a minute to see what happens, within a minute of me snoozing it, it comes back again. And I can either snooze it again or I can stop it again. So then it got me thinking, did Jen set an alert on her watch? Again, this is not provable. I'm not saying this is just me playing, because I'm nonstop energizing bunny. Like I need to try it out. I need to test it out. I need to prove it myself. I need to see it for myself. So, and that's what I have been doing, is testing and doing to see if I can prove it by myself, that these activities, these clusters, these patterns, these triggers on the phones, on the watches, on the different activities make any sense. Because if the search for House Loans 9 Nicole was not 90 minutes, why the fuck does anybody have to be up before 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday after you spend the entire night drinking and doing shots? There's no work. She doesn't work. She doesn't have to go coach any basketball teams, right? There's a blizzard. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts was closed, for God's sakes. And here's Julie Albert saying that she brought from where? Where did you get those donuts? The night before? Are they all stale? Because Dunkin' Donuts was closed. There's a blizzard coming. What do you mean you're up? To do what? Waiting until, I don't know, Julie had to go find John and say, oh God, look, it's John, a plow driver. But then what happened? Karen calls. Kaylee calls Jen for Karen. Karen gets on the phone. And the minute that she hangs up with Karen, who does she call? Julie Albert. And Julie says in trial, that's when I learned that John died. How? Because you said you never talked to Jen. So were you at 34 Fairview? Were you inside that white Ford that we just showed earlier? Were you following Jen, Matt, and Chris? Did you know what was going on? Well, there's still so many questions, but I did do the exercise that I told you guys, and what I've been doing is pouring it, right? So it feeds sort of like images, because a lot of people, it's a lot easier if I can show like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and show you exactly where the latitudes and the everything, like every single dot, what happened first, what happened after. But I went a little bit further. So what I did was I opened up an Excel sheet, then I transferred it to Access. So I loaded every single time based on the call log that we got on the evidence reports from the court after trial 1 was over. I loaded it up in Excel and I tried to marry, like put it together, both Jen and John, to show sort of like where were they. So there are times that the times are never, it's almost impossible. It's like, why is it that they don't coincide? Like if we're doing extractions and we're comparing, right, and trying to figure out if these people were together or where were they, why are you giving me 12:21 over there and you start with Jen at 12 whatever? Why don't you give me equal sort of times? Why don't you put everything within the same format so we can try to match and see if there was any matching between the activities, the movements, and the locations where Jen was versus where John was? Because at the end of the day, the Lexus came back clean. We don't have anything to compare as far as where the Lexus was. The only time that we know where the Lexus is when John is in the Lexus, because we know that John and Karen went to Waterfall, jumped in the Lexus from the Walgreens parking lot, and went to 34 Fairview afterwards, right? And we can follow the route using what? John's phone. But John was using what? He wasn't using Google Earth or Google GPS. He was using Waze. We have nothing on the car. So in order for us to track or have an idea to proximity of what is the closest thing to reality, we gotta marry all of this stuff. And let me tell you, from the beginning, some of this stuff is so incompatible that there's a divorce doomed to happen before we even get married. So, but I just wanted to come in real quick because it's taking me a little bit longer, and I have been sinus sick too. Yeah, the Waze, but Waze is not 100%. It's got, there's a variance there, and then Waze feeds from Apple, so it's almost like first it has to go to Apple, and then it's got to go to Waze, and that's why you see that there's always going to be a few minutes delay. Now, what really was like, wow, for me was that in less than 5 seconds, John opened his Waze and was able to complete the search for 34 Fairview, which means that it existed. It was already on his history. It's the only logical explanation. He could not have used his voice because it was still on the call. He was still on the call talking to Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Chris Albert, whoever it was that was inside that Yukon. The minute that the Yukon pulled in into 34 Fairview at 12:19:22, Jen comes out of the Yukon and goes inside. But the call keeps going until 12:19:36. And what happened after 12:19:36? Because at 12:21:05, we see another cluster of events that start with the one that ended on John's phone and started again at 12:21:10. But tracking John's phone, latitudes and altitudes, his coordinates, the address, the blueprints of that house, I can assure you he was inside, he was within the perimeter of 34 Fairview. So I'm hoping I can at least share a few of the images soon, or put a video together to drop it tomorrow or the next day. But I just wanted to come and say hey, and yeah, and rant a little. So yeah, Waze, I mean, it's reliable to a point, right? Sometimes it works off. You don't have to be connected to the Wi-Fi or to the internet. Sometimes when you have addresses that you have already searched on your history, it can quickly pop up and give you an idea of how far are you from location X to location Y. But it's not as reliable as if you, yeah, me too. I'm trying to finish it. I had to, when I came home yesterday, we worked all day. I had to come back and tweak it a little. And when I reviewed it, I'm going, based on what he said, let me look into this. So, and then I finished the Faraday bag thing too. So I wanted to add the Faraday bag information there too. But yeah, there's a lot of comments on X that people are saying, well, that's not Kevin Albert. That's not Kevin. But nobody's saying who is. And nobody's posting a picture. I mean, to be honest, I thought always that Kevin Albert was not true Irish, because out of all of them, and there's 7 of them, he looks more Italian to me. But yeah, that was just my personal opinion. Everybody that says, no, that's not him. That's not him. And so I asked him, okay, so put a picture. So who is it? Oh no, because they had the geofence. Okay, well, share a link. Let me see it. And nobody does anything. So why should I be the one sharing and posting and putting pictures and whatever for the world to see? And when somebody comes and rebuttals you, nobody puts anything. I mean, shouldn't it work both ways? It should, right? So yeah, I'm not entertaining any of that. I'm not saying that, let's say, for instance, if somebody is to prove that it isn't, why wouldn't I say, oops, my bad. You're right. It wasn't him. But so far, nobody has. And all I've gotten so far is that is him. So yeah, so we're going to continue to do what we do and jump in here and talk every time that we can. And that you guys can leave me messages. If something comes up, you can put messages on the YouTube thing, and I try to respond them right away. So there is a big, I put one on X. There's I found like 4 pictures of him, and I just put, I don't know, you didn't see it. Hold on. You haven't seen it. Wait, let me see you. Let me show you. So that's how I started the show. You didn't come here until just now. So hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something. So hold on. Let's see. I gotta delete this one. Stop screen to add the other one. Haha, I learned something new today. So I'm gonna share this one. And give me 1 second. Okay. So I started the show showing this. Can you guys see it? Yeah. You see how I say that he's a little.
Cost about $9,000, but it costs more than twice how much it
He looks
costs
more
Canton
Italian.
taxpayers to investigate Detective Kevin Albert for misconduct. The investigation itself cost about $9,000, but it costs more than twice that, about $20K. Taxpayers to investigate how much it costs Canton reveal how much it costs Canton taxpayers to investigate.
Now, you look at the video and you look at this, and there's a Google pic that looks similar. Yeah. To pop up in ways. Yes. So, I mean, people change. They gain weight. They look a little bit more chubby. And we're all going that way. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's how he used to look at, and I have no idea how old that picture was, but that was when in 2022, 2023, when he was placed on leave. So we are in 2026. I mean, you saw Higgins. Higgins has like changed 360, right? Like he's lost a lot of weight. Probably the whole tragedy thing, the regret, the sense of guilt, who knows? Because at the end of the day, he got immunity. Higgins got immunity for the proffer that he turned in. You know what immunity is? That nothing can ever happen to him because he provided in good faith a testimony with all the relevant events and doers and people implicated of what happened that night. And in exchange of his testimony, he got immunity. So I laugh when I hear, "Oh, we're never going to stop doing these videos until the real killer, Brian Higgins, is going to just," it's never going to happen. He's not going to crack. He's not a rat. He already said what he had to say. And what he didn't, that's what he said at when he called the JFK show off. Decorated dudes. Decorated dudes. And the only decorated dudes there were Higgins and Albert. So put it into perspective. Chris invites John to the waterfall. I am sure that when that happened, because it was around lunchtime, Brian, Kevin, Brian Albert, and Eddie Hernandez were coming back from the trip from New York. Let's assume that they went to this funeral, which, that's still, up for grabs. So how do we know that Kevin didn't ask Chris to ask John to go to the waterfall because they were already talking on the, but who knows, right? The thing is, Chris invited John to the waterfall. John asked, it's your brother Kevin going to be there? Is your brother Kevin going to be there? And a lot of people think that it's because he wanted to talk to Kevin. I think it's because he didn't want to be anywhere near Kevin. But, that's up for grabs too. And then all of a sudden, what is it? All of a sudden, here's, what do you call it? Here's John at the waterfall with all of these cups that happen to be off at the same time, on the same night, at the same bar where all of these people have already fought before plenty of times and have been able to get away with it. With all the same actors available. You think it's a coincidence that Lank pulls the stunt about, oh, is this your phone? Is this your phone? Lank was given that phone. That's why Matt McCabe couldn't go with Jen. That's what Jen didn't say, well, I'll go get you. Because if Jen goes and gets Karen, there's no reason to spend another minute at One Meadows. But Matt had to go a different direction. And that's why Jen had to take Karen to a different direction, because Matt was coming toward this direction. To do what? To hand the phone off. The phone that he had for about 5 hours. He had what? John O'Keefe's phone. That's my opinion. So, okay, guys. Until the next time. Today it's Thursday. It's a Thursday, baby. And tomorrow is going to be Friday, St. Joseph Day. So, happy St. Joseph for everybody. And I will see you guys, I guess, soon. If something comes up, I'll put up a note and I'll let you guys know. But I don't foresee anything happening. We should be fine. Okay? All right.